坏了，电脑怎么开不开了？开开了。电脑开机了。怎么是？学习1小时还得修电脑，还得修电脑。好了，连上了。 验证身份。取项。你登录，以后再说。喂，好，上页。English， 英国历史。
If you're a web designer, here are 4 Wix Studio features you gotta know. Chapter 1, Introduction to Phrases. Hi, I am Ariel, and today I'm going to talk about something exciting and very useful for learning English. Phrases. You might be wondering, what exactly is a phrase and why should I care about it? Let's dive in together, and I promise that by the end of this chapter, you'll see how phrases can make English much easier and more enjoyable for you. What is a phrase? Let's start with a simple definition. A phrase is a small group of words that work together as a single unit. Unlike a sentence, a phrase doesn't need a complete thought to make sense. Imagine a phrase as a group of friends walking together. Each word in the phrase plays its own role to help express an idea. Think about this example. In the park. This phrase doesn't tell us the full story like a sentence does, but it gives us an idea of where something is happening. Phrases are like puzzle pieces. They help build bigger pictures in English. Why are phrases important? Phrases are essential because they are everywhere in English. They make sentences clearer and more detailed. Learning different types of phrases will help you sound more natural and confident when you speak. As Samuel Johnson once said, language is the dress of thought. The phrases we use dress our ideas, giving them style, color, and clarity. Imagine how boring language would be if we only used single words. By using phrases, we can describe things in a more exciting way. Types of phrases. There are several types of phrases, each with its own purpose. Over the next few chapters, we will explore each type. Noun phrases, verb phrases, adjective phrases, adverb phrases, prepositional phrases, infinitive phrases, gerund phrases. Each of these phrases has a specific job in a sentence, just like how each person has their role in a team. By learning these phrases, you'll be building a stronger foundation in English. Examples to keep you curious. Let's look at a few examples of phrases to spark your interest. Noun. Phrase, the beautiful sunset. Here, the beautiful sunset acts as a single idea focused on the noun sunset. Verb, phrase, is running fast. This phrase adds action and tells us more about what someone is doing. Prepositional phrase, on the table. We get a clearer idea of where something is. These simple phrases help create images and action in our minds, adding meaning without needing a full sentence.
Phrase, phrase, phrase,
Let's practice.
phrase 什么意思？phrase，翻译 phrase，phrase，哦，短语 phrase，短语的意思。Got it.
Together. As we go through each type, I encourage you to think of your examples. Phrases are everywhere, and you'll see them in books, conversations, and even movies. If you want to practice even more, check out vestoryspeak.online, where I have some helpful videos and exercises just for you. I'd love to hear your
我
thoughts.
怀疑这是广告。
Why do you think learning
Why is learn English speak better English speak better English
I knew I was underwater. I just didn't realize I was this underwater. If you're stressed about your paper, just get Grammarly. It's free. I don't need better grammar.
5 smart way to improve your English speaking skills.
Hello, listen. Do you feel like, you're not making progress with your spoken English? Like you're stuck? Well, today I'm going to help you. I'm going to give you 5 tips, right? 5 simple things you can do every day that will help improve your spoken English and help you get, unstuck so you can do really well on the IELTS speaking test. Are you ready? Then come with me.
Come with me. Okay. So, my name is Keith.
Hello again. So my name is Keith and I run the Keith Speaking Academy, here to help you speak better English, give better answers and get a higher score on the IELTS speaking test. So maybe, right, you've taken the IELTS test several times, but you're stuck at the same level, maybe a band 6 or a 6.5. There may be several reasons for this, and today I'm going to look at the most common problem for being stuck, right? And actually, it's not that you need more technique, exam technique or tips, it's just that your overall level of spoken English is too low. So the English in your head might be great, but when you speak, it's just not the same. As a student once said to me, he said, when I've got ideas in English, the English in my head, it's like driving a Ferrari. It's great, but then when I speak, it's like a car crash. Which is a great image, I think, for many, many students. So today I'm going to address that and help you improve your spoken English. With these 5 tips, I'm going to look at the following: how to learn speaking, how to automate your vocabulary, how to increase fluency, how to gain confidence, and how to make sure you're choosing the right tools to help you. Right, okie dokie, let's begin.
Let's begin. Type 1. How to learn.
So first of all, how to learn speaking, or how to learn how to speak. The most important tip here, I think, is to learn speaking by listening. Unfortunately, many students around the world learn speaking with books, by looking at words, by reading and reading aloud. And why? Well, probably because their teachers told them. And the reason their teachers told them is because they learned that at school too. And I think one reason is in the past, there was no access to the native speaker voice, right? But the world has changed. And unfortunately, education has not changed, but it needs to. Why is this important? Because the speaking and writing are 2 different systems, right? A bit of history to explain. I like history. We have been speaking, right, for over 10,000 years. We have only been writing for maybe 4,000 or 5,000 years, right? We began writing with the Egyptians and the Sumerians with their cuneiforms in about 3000 BC. Speaking came first. Writing was a way to capture what we say. And grammar is a way to capture what we speak. And it does a pretty good job, but it's not perfect. And yet still so many people choose the books to help them learn to speak. It's the other way round, right? We should start with the speaking and the listening, and the books come later. It's a bit like, right, imagine, right, Messi, the football player, comes knocking on your door with his football, and he says, "Hey, Keith, would you like to come and play football with me?" And you go, no, actually, I'm just going to stay at home and read this book about football. What? Why would you choose to read about it when you can be doing it, right, and learning really well? I mean, the book can be useful maybe later, but start with the doing, right? Start with the listening and the speaking, and the writing comes later. Learning by listening, if I haven't convinced you, let me finish with convincing you. Learning by listening has the following benefits, right? First of all, you learn natural spoken English. You know that the language is spoken, not written. You learn pronunciation. You get the context, so you know how to learn, how to use the language when you're speaking. It's a no-brainer. You must begin by listening, right? And I said earlier, right, the world has changed. We are surrounded by native speaker texts or proficient speaker audio texts, videos, Netflix, YouTube. You can get it anywhere. Keith Speaking Academy, if you've heard of that. There are audios all over the world at the click of a button. So start using it. Learn your speaking by listening.
Learn your speaking by listening.
Okay, number 2, how to automate vocabulary. I love that word, automate. Great word. Keith, yes? What does automate mean? It's a good question, and I'm glad you asked. To automate something is to make it automatic, like without thinking. Do you know the phrase autopilot? To do something on autopilot. Sometimes I'm driving on autopilot. It just means I'm driving without thinking at the same time. So you may know, actually, I have a fluency course, and a strong focus of the fluency course is to automate grammar. So we look at maybe 16 different grammatical items, and through practice, automate them, so you're using them without thinking. Now, you can do the same with vocabulary. Automate your vocabulary. How do you do it? Very simple tip. Tried and tested method, repeat and juggle.
Repeat?
Right?
Repeat. Struggle is struggle. Struggle. Repeat.
Repeat and juggle. What do I mean by that? Well, first of all, you find something to listen to, right? Remember what I said in tip number 1, learn speaking through listening. You listen to something and you repeat a word or a phrase, maybe a collocation, right? So you're listening to something, for example, an audio tape, and it says, I love Paris. And you go, stop. I love Paris. And you repeat, right? That's the repeat. Easy peasy. The juggle is that you then change a word. What is juggle? Good question. Let me show you. Juggle, right? Oranges, like the magician. This is juggling.
Whoa.
Whoa! Now, why do I call it joggling? I don't. Why do I call it juggling? Because you take a word and you change it, right? So in our example, I love Paris. I change the word Paris. I love Hanoi. I love New Delhi. I love Manchester. Right? Easy. Now, you can juggle by changing the word, or you can change the tense.
Do you want to be the first millionaire in your family? Here are 3 tips that can help you get there. Number 1, know that any skill is learnable. If you can drive a car, if you can swim, you can learn any skill, including financial skills.
I love Paris. I loved Paris. I will love Paris. I used to love Paris. I'm sure I would love Paris if I could go there, right? So you're juggling the tense. Very, very simple. Listen, repeat, and juggle. And that formula starts to get you automatically using and hardwiring the vocabulary, making it active and more automated. Now, actually, as I said, education has changed, right? We are now surrounded by audio and video. There's lots of it, and there's lots of really good tools you can use. I came across one the other day that I thought was really, really good. And I'm going to show you very briefly how it works. Gives you access to lots of audio and video and helps you do this repeating and juggling. Let me show you. So let me show you this app. Right? I've downloaded it off the Apple Store. I'm on my tablet over here. This is it over here, Woodpecker. And once you go in there, let me go inside the screen and show you how it works. So we've got a whole bunch of YouTube videos. If you've got Netflix, you can go in and sign in and access your Netflix videos. You can go on the web browser and also get some websites here. And there is a built-in dictionary, I think. Now, let's imagine in YouTube, if you want to select by topic, you can. So if you're interested in, I don't know, in books, you can find all the videos which are related to books. You can also choose by the channel, if you prefer, or choose by the teacher. So all of your famous English teachers are on here. So let's see how we can actually use the repeat and juggling technique in a video. If we go into this video here, right, you can see you can watch the video. Great. The tape script all the way through the video is here with timestamps, so I can click on any timestamp, pause, and I can repeat that, right? It was very popular in his time. I can check the meaning of a word by pressing on it. It tells me the meaning of popular, well liked, popular, dictionary, voice. But if I press the timestamp, it'll just repeat. He was very popular at his time. He was very popular. He was very popular. Press the timestamp. He was very popular at his time. He was very popular. Da, 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 da. Great. And now I can juggle. I can change the end. He was very popular 10 years ago. He was very popular 2 years ago. He was very popular a year ago, and so on. He was very popular at his time. Total flexibility to move around and be repeating and juggling. Absolutely brilliant. Great. So that's it. Tip number 2. Listen, repeat, and juggle. Let's move on.
Let's move on. How to?
Right, number 3. How to increase your fluency when speaking. So the tip here is focus on chunks. So what are chunks, you ask? Chunks are pieces of language, typically 2 words together, or maybe 3 or 4 words that go together normally. So your chunks may be, for example, collocations like heavy rain, right? We don't say big rain, we say heavy rain. These words go together like friends, they stick together. Chunks could be idiomatic expressions like kick the bucket, right? Meaning to die. He kicked the bucket, kick the bucket. It could be a filler, like on top of that, right? When we say on top of that, you don't want to be thinking, is it in top, on top of this, on top of that? You don't want to be thinking, you want a ready-made chunk on top of that. So you learn the chunk without thinking about all the words. And this, as you can imagine, speeds up your fluency. I mean, take collocations. Let's take the word shopping, for example, right? When you learn the word shopping, you should also learn some common collocations, right? You can go to a website like Ostic.com, brilliant website, give you instant collocations. And you'll find things like, well, weekly shopping, online shopping, late night shopping, a shopping spree, or shopping hours, right? These are chunks of language that if you learn them, you can use them much more flexibly. You don't have to think, right? Somebody says, you know, what did you do at the weekend? Oh, I did my shopping, you know, for Monday to Saturday, you know, the shopping for the week. Oh, you mean your weekly shopping? Yes, I did my weekly shopping. If you learn the collocation, it just helps you become much more fluent. It's very simple when you think about it, right? When you learn words, one word, you have to think about putting them together. When you learn chunks, you don't have to think about putting the words together. You just think about putting the chunks together. Imagine this, right? Imagine a builder building a house, and he's using bricks, and he puts the bricks one by one, he puts the bricks on top of each other. That's quite slow and takes time to build a house. But now imagine somebody has a new invention and gives him 4 or 5 bricks in a layer, glued together. And all he has to do is put the layers of bricks on top of each other. It's much faster. And what's more, the house is going to be better because it'll be more accurately aligned. It's more accurate, and it's the same with language, right? Using these layers or chunks, more accurate, it's faster. It's faster, you become more fluent. So when you're learning vocabulary, think and learn and use chunks. Let's move on.
How to
Right, tip number 4, right? How to gain confidence. Well, here, my tip for you is push your comfort zone. Your comfort zone is the area of doing things where you feel comfortable. So maybe you learn English by watching a film. You're comfortable. You read a book. You're comfortable. But then somebody says, well, listen, why don't you record your voice? Oh, no, I'm not very comfortable. No. Oh, why don't you get a speaking partner on Facebook? Oh, no, I'm not comfortable with that. Why don't you go and join the classes down the road? Oh, no, I'm not comfortable with that. And so there's almost a fear, if you like, of breaking your comfort zone. But when you use English in the world, you are going to have to interact with other people, speak to strangers, be nervous, make mistakes, have other people sometimes laugh at your mistakes. It's going to happen, so get used to it. And believe it or not, when you do the IELTS speaking test, you do it with a real person. Yes, the examiners are real people. And you will have to get used to being nervous, get used to making mistakes in front of them, get used to those feelings of being uncomfortable. How do you get used to it? Push your comfort zone. Do these things that make you uncomfortable, right? And I think one of the best things you can do really is practice with other people. Yes, you can practice speaking on your own, that's great, but to take your confidence up to the next level, you should practice with other people. You know, I'm a big fan of platforms like iTalki and Cambly, or Facebook for finding, speaking partners. But by doing that, you're going to be practicing with other people. Yes, you will feel uncomfortable, but the great news is you will get used to feeling uncomfortable. You'll get used to feeling nervous. You'll get used to making mistakes in front of other people. And then, by pushing your comfort zone, you'll be in a much stronger position and have more confidence to face the IELTS examiner on test day. So go out and push your comfort zone. Good. Talking of tools, let's move on to the next tip number 5. It's all about tools. Right, tip number 5, all about choosing the right tools, right? My suggestion here, tip number 5, is immerse yourself in natural spoken English. It's all well and good, right? Having a course book, having a teacher, and practicing with English, which is for students. But it's really important you don't forget the real world. and that you also engage and immerse yourself in natural spoken English, which is not for students, which is used by not normal people, by native speakers or proficient level speakers of English. Why is this important? Well, because teachers are great, right? But teachers and course books normally limit the language they expose you to. They speak slowly, they correct you, they're polite, they encourage you. It's kind of an artificial bubble where you can build up your confidence, and that's great. But also the real world is a bit different, right? People are not so polite. They may not correct you. They speak quickly. They expect you to understand. There is no mercy. In the IELTS speaking test, you must answer straight away. So there's pressure, right? So I think having, of course, have the teacher, the course and the book, that's great. But also make sure you're immersing yourself in spoken English. And this connects with a lot of things I said earlier, right? About listening, learning speaking by listening, about using different tools. So nowadays, there is so much opportunity, and I'm sure you know through videos and podcasts that you can find on the internet, on your television, or through your radio, if you still have a radio. Call me old-fashioned, if you will. But there's lots of opportunity to be listening and watching. I think it's great to be looking at news broadcasts, current affair shows, chat shows, interviews with people, great natural English. TED Talks can be great. Obviously, films are good. I mean, bear in mind, films are scripted, so they're semi-natural, but still a great source to immerse yourself in. And also, there's the tool I mentioned earlier, right, which I think has a great balance because it's the Woodpecker Learning app. It gives you not only access to ESL stuff, so stuff for the students, but also the real world stuff. You get access, I think, to hundreds of thousands of videos that you can choose from on the app and be watching them all in one place. Lots of them have got subtitles, right? So that gives you the support if you want the written support. But it's a great opportunity to submerge yourself or immerse yourself in the natural English language. Go and check it out. I'll put a link in the notes below. You can go and download it. It's out on Google and Apple. Go and have a look and let me know. Here you go. Let me know in the comments below what you're watching on the app now to help improve your English. Go and check it out. It's free, of course. Lovely. let's move on. So listen, those are my 5 tips to help you improve your English speaking skills. So we've looked at how to learn speaking by listening, how to automate vocabulary. What is IELTS exactly? And how do you prepare for it? Let's find out. Now, if you are new to IELTS, you may have a lot of questions about it. Who's it for? What does it look like exactly? How do I pass? How do I prepare for IELTS? How do I even book the test? These are all great questions. I'm going to try and answer all of these.
It is no surprise 90% of wealth managers advocate for fine art in a balanced portfolio. Art has consistently outperformed traditional assets, proving resilient in volatile markets. Our expert's guide to fine art investment reveals
It really makes me cringe listening to all that. Thank you for that kind introduction, but I hate hearing about myself, and as a show, well, maybe if you could just applaud. How many of you know who NVIDIA is? And how many of you know what a GPU is? Okay, good, I don't have to change my speech. Ladies and gentlemen, President Rosenbaum, esteemed faculty members, distinguished guests, proud parents, and above all, the 2024 graduating class of Caltech. This is a really happy day for you guys. You gotta look more excited. You know you're graduating from Caltech. This is the school of the great Richard Feynman, Linus Pauling, and someone who's very influential to me and our industry, Carver Mead. Yeah, this is a very big deal. Today is a day of immense pride and joy. It is a dream come true for all of you, but not just for you, because your parents and families have made countless sacrifices to see you reach this milestone. So let's take this moment and congratulate them, thank them, and them know you love them. You don't want to forget that because you don't know how long you're going to be living at home. You want to be super grateful today. As a proud parent, I really loved it when my kids didn't move out. And it was great to see them every day. But now they've moved out, it makes me sad. So hopefully you guys get to spend some time with your parents. Your journey here is a testament of your character, determination, willingness to make sacrifices for your dreams. And you should be proud. The ability to make sacrifices, endure pain and suffering. You will need these qualities in life. You and I share some things in common. First, both chief scientists of NVIDIA were from Caltech. And one of the reasons why I'm giving this speech today is because I'm recruiting. And so I want to tell you that NVIDIA is a really great company. I'm a very nice boss, universally loved. Come work at NVIDIA. You and I share a passion for science and engineering. And although we're separated by about 40 years, we are both at the peaks of our career. For all of you who have been paying attention,
if you build a portfolio, the question is it resilient?
For the first time in its 50-year history,
to the front lines. South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol has condemned the move, warning that the troop deployment is a security threat for both South Korea and the world.
Today, we're going to read a news article together, and this is an advanced C1 article. But don't worry, because this lesson is perfect for you if you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced student, because I'm going to explain everything in detail. You're going to improve all areas of your English, your vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, reading, writing, and more. Welcome back to J Freight's English. Of course, I'm Jennifer. Now let's get started. First, I'll read the headline. How did ancient Egyptians stack those heavy stones? Scientists float new theory. We're talking about the pyramids. Of course, ancient. Notice this pronunciation, ancient, chint. This last part here is pronounced chint, ancient. Ancient Egyptians. Repeat after me. Ancient Egyptians. Now let's look at stack. This is a verb. How did they, ancient Egyptians, stack? So that's the verb. Now, to stack is when you place one object on top of another, which is exactly what they did with the stone to build the pyramids. We commonly use this with papers, folders, books, or other flat objects you can find in your home or office. Can you stack those papers, place them one on top of the other? Now you can say into a pile. You could also say into a stack. A stack of papers is the group of papers with one placed on top of the other. Same with a pile. A pile, a stack. So notice this is a noun, a stack, and then this is the verb, to stack. So you might say, I have a stack of papers to file.
So you have to take all of those papers that are in a stack and file them alphabetically or by year, for example. So in this case, stack, place them one on top of the other. Those heavy stones. Great question, isn't it? Is that something that you've ever thought about? I know I certainly have. Scientists float new theory. What does it mean to float a new theory? Now, grammatically, you need an article here, but articles and auxiliary verbs are commonly omitted from headlines. But grammatically, you need a new theory because theory is a singular countable noun. So scientists float a new theory. This verb means to introduce a new theory, suggest, or propose. Honestly, I would say that all three of these options are more common than the word float. So sometimes with the English language, you need to learn certain vocabulary in order to understand what something means. Because if you don't know what float means in this case, you might not understand the meaning of the idea. But other words may be more common or the better choices to use. So I suggest using any one of these three, but now you know that float an idea simply means to introduce an idea. Don't worry about taking notes because I summarize everything in a free lesson PDF. You can find the link in the description. Let's continue with our lesson. 4 years, Egyptologists. Personally, I've never seen this word before, but I understand because we use ologist, we add that to a word to mean the study of. So I understand just by the form of this word that an Egyptologist is someone who studies Egypt.
How I get to live in Japan as part of my medical school is going.
It's Friday afternoon. You and everyone else looking at the corner of their eye at the clock. 3 minutes to go. 2 minutes to.
我觉得在
Hello， 大家玩了。
What's it like?
Hello, I'm Caroline Steele. This is the BBC World Service, and welcome to the Engineers. This year we're at the Science Specialist University, Imperial College London, and we're here to focus on the technical revolution defining our era, artificial intelligence. I'm joined by a panel of 3 world leaders in the field and a large enthusiastic audience in Imperial's Great Hall. Already a computer can defeat the world's greatest player at our most complex strategy game. The first movie, written entirely by AI, has just been released, and AI may have discovered our first antibiotic in 3 decades. Together with our partners Royal Commission 1851, we've brought together 3 engineers at the cutting edge of this field to discuss their work and what it means for us humans. Paolo Pirjonian is Armenian, but he was born in Iran and started his career working on Mars rovers for NASA. He's now founder and CEO of Embodied, which is a company that builds emotionally intelligent robots to help with child development. David Silver is from the UK, where he's principal research scientist at the AI research lab Google DeepMind. He led the team that used AI to defeat the world's best player at the complicated strategy game Go. And he's working on artificial
Chinese soldier.
Hello everyone. So recently I noticed that some of the trees outside have already started to change colors.
I knew I was underwater. I just didn't realize I was this underwater. If you're stressed about your
Hello everyone. So recently I noticed that some of the trees outside have already started to change colors, and that can only mean one thing, which is that fall is coming. And fall is my absolute favorite season, so I'm pretty excited. Fall is honestly such a great season. Like, the weather is perfect, there's so many holidays, there's so much great food, and the vibes are just perfect. So today I wanted to share some of my favorite movies that kind of encapsulate this feeling and vibe of fall. And you guys could also use these movies as a way to practice some English. And at the end of this video, I'll be sharing some really good tips for how to efficiently learn a language by watching a movie or anything like that. And I'll be sharing some of the methods that I used when I was learning Chinese a long time ago. So make sure to stick around to the end. Okay, so the first one is called Knives Out. In English, we would probably call this kind of movie a whodunit or a murder mystery kind of movie. So someone dies in the very beginning of the movie, and then you're trying to figure out who is the person responsible for his death. So it's really, really good. The story is really good. There's so many twists and turns, and it's really, really interesting to watch. But also, I just feel like this movie is so beautiful. There's so many fall colors throughout the movie, and I just can feel that like crispness in the air when I watch this movie. I don't know how, but I do. Most people in this movie speak very clearly. It's very easy to follow along, except there is one detective. He speaks English with a very strong Creole accent, so that might be kind of hard to understand, but other than that, it should be fine. So the next movie is Good Will Hunting, and this is one of my favorite movies of all time. And it also takes place in Boston. It's shot in Boston, which to me just feels like the most fall city ever. Like, it just has that kind of fall vibe in Boston. I don't know why. Maybe because the first time I went to Boston was during the fall, so maybe it's just a me thing, but it's such a beautiful movie. The story is also very touching and very moving and very interesting. It's about a guy who's